we're going to start off doing what I like to call is a peppermint bowl, and it is made out of peppermint candies. So I'll pour some of these out so you can see that it's a little bowl. This one is not as deep, but I'm going to let you know that if you're watching me do this, first thing we're going to do is a chocolate Christmas tree. But as I'm doing that, if you're going to actually follow me and do the peppermint bowl, you can watch me and start taking your peppermint wrappers off, and which I've already done, as you can see. Okay, so if you're going to do two things at one time, because it does take a while to start taking your peppermint wrappers off. For the bowl, you're going to need to take 19 basically mints, and for the platter, which I'll show you in a minute, there'll be like 78. So if you haven't pre-done that, just go ahead and start doing that while you're watching me, okay? So let's move over here. We're going to do a chocolate Christmas tree, basically. Let me show you like that. All right. I made another one, but I just fell over. I noticed something fell over. I put it into a cupcake, and it toppled over. But anyways, you can stick them into cupcakes, but they're like lollipops. I actually made this one with a Pocky stick, but you can use a straw. Excuse me. Or you can use a lollipop stick, or you can use what I use is a Pocky. So it's a brand of kind of like a cracker, the chocolate end on that. So I'm going to make two of them to show you how to make two different kinds. So I have my parchment paper right there, and you can put whichever end. I'm going to put the bottom face in the bottom so it looks like a little bit of bark on the bottom, okay? I have my white chocolate that's already melted. I just had a straight little piping tube on there, no star tip, just a straight tip. And let me show you again how to do that. You want to tighten, pinch it, twist it, make sure your piping back, see how it starts to squeeze out? It should feel like your arm right there, okay? We're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to secure or stick to the, so it doesn't move around too much, okay? Right there. Hopefully it'll stay in place. And we're going to go across the bottom, make one line so you know how wide you want to do it. Like that. And then make another bottom down here at the bottom. Go a little bit further down than that, like that. Okay. And then we're going to just zigzag, okay? Just go this way, and you just keep coming back and forth. And you just start making it more narrow, and they're going to come back again. Back and forth, back and forth. And you want it a little thick because you don't want it to break, okay? That's important. Sorry, my voice with the weather, my asthma's been kind of crazy. Okay, so you got that dry there. You gotta twist it again and start at the bottom here. Just zigzags it. Start coming narrow to the top. So you can't mess this up. So if your children want to help you, and they kind of come back and say where you need to fill in. Now, again, if you want to buy the green Wilton coins, then you don't have to worry about coloring this. Okay. I'm using the white because right now with Christmas, I haven't been able to find the chocolate coins. And I also couldn't find what they have. The coloring is, you have to buy oil-based coloring. And it's made for candies and chocolate. And if you try to use the Wilton little small coloring gels, they're water-based and your chocolate will seize up. Got a question?
No, please make sure everyone's mic is muted.
Oh, okay, please make sure everyone's mic is muted.
There's echo feedback.
I can see her echo feedback. Thank you so much. My daughter's letting me know that. Now, while this is cool, we want to make sure we decorate right away. I'm going to do one with a little bit of green glitter on that, so that kind of colors it for me. On the other one, I'm going to do some nonpareil sprinkles, and I have very little bit left of that as well. We're going to go ahead and put those in there. Get real close so they won't go sliding everywhere. Like that. Maybe put a few in here too. That, and I have all these baby little ornaments that I got that we used last week. Just put a few in there, and you just dab them in there. But if you got whatever you have at home, you can use. If you have M&Ms, use M&Ms. If you have, you know, like different kind of sprinkles that you had from Halloween, use that. It's okay. So I just want to make them look nice and pretty. And there. And the longer you leave the bottom is fine. I didn't leave too much, but you can make them look like lollipops. You can put them on top of cupcakes, or you can just set them out in a platter and look, you know, nice and pretty, you know, around, you know, a cake stand or something. Okay, let's see, let's put a couple more of these. Little icicles here and there, the snowflakes. We're getting ready for snow. Let's put those in there. Those are pretty. And just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and send these away so I can get them cool and like in the fridge, just so that by the time that we're finished, I can show you what they look like, okay? All right, so that's what they look like right there. All right, good. All right, take those away. Now, like I was saying, you know, you can make them whatever color you want, but I usually buy the green coins with Wilton, because last week we can tell we had problems with that, and I also couldn't get the oil coloring to change the green into white. We went with white, but just make sure that if you try to color your chocolate, you use oil-based coloring. You can't use those drops that you buy from the grocery store. It will immediately seize up your chocolate, and it's just going to get hard as a rock. So I have to buy oil-based, okay? But if you try to do like a dough that we're going to do in a little while, you can use the little gel, which I'm going to show you how to color your gel. Use the gel and color the dough red or whatever. All right? Any questions so far? Think? Okay, so that takes care of that. I'm going to leave out my sprinkles and stuff because I'm probably going to use those in a little bit. Next, we're going to start working on our peppermint bowl. Okay, got that right there. I use not such of a deep bowl. This time I'm going to use this bowl, which is a little bit deeper than I used for that to maybe, but you can put ice cream, you can put candies, wrap them in plastic, give them as gifts for the holidays. Perfect gift to put in there. You know, just it's put a brownies in there, put them in there. But it's so cute to be able to use with the peppermints that a lot of people like, but they really don't eat that much. So right here I have 19 peppermints, okay? We are going to put them on either parchment, or if you have silk, Pat, you can use that. And that's my tray has here already, okay? So I have that in there. You want to put the oven for 300 degrees. Now, we're going to put one right in the center, and then we're going to put 6 all the way around. And as tight as possible. So that's 6. 6. And then you're going to put 12 around that. And then we're going to push them in nice and tight. The goal is that when you put them the goal is when you put them in the oven, everybody's oven's a little bit different. So 8 minutes is just kind of an estimate. You want to keep an eye on them. You want it to be kind of shiny, but you don't want this to be bubbly, because once it gets bubbles, it's just going to start going everywhere, okay? And it's going to be kind of sticky, so don't panic like, oh, it's sticking to the parchment, sticking to the silk pad. It's going to be okay. But you want to be careful, because anytime you work with hot candy or sugar, it's a serious burn, okay? You can have the mittens. I usually don't use mittens. I use more like the pot holders, or even just I have like kitchen, dish rags that I use. So it's going to be tricky because I'm going to start using those. I have some mittens I'm going to use, but so you want them all together like that, tight. All right. One in the middle, 6, and then 12 like that. Sometimes people make lollipops out of these too, and they put a lollipop stick when they come out. Okay. You're going to have about 30 seconds when it comes out to come out, put it on the rack, and start to work with it. So when you start to work with it, it comes out. We're going to have our little bowl ready to go. Okay. I put a little bit of oil on this bowl just to be sure that it's going to pop off later easily. Okay. So it's going to be like, we're going to bring this out underneath here. Try to remember where the center is. And we're going to flip this over with our mitts. And then it's going to start shaping, and we're going to pull it off. Okay. So I'm just telling you ahead of time what we're going to do, but I'm going to show you because it's going to go really fast, because after about a minute, the candy sets. All right. So it's going to go off to the oven. About 8 minutes. We're going to keep an eye on it. We want it to be shiny. They should be soft when you kind of touch them, but not like just going everywhere. And that's good. They've gone too far. So if you start to see yours and you touch them and they're kind of soft, bring them out. Get ready to do what I'm gonna do, okay? So that's gonna go in the oven, 300 degrees, about 8 minutes.
Is there a plate under the mat?
There's not a plate under that mat. There is just the silk mat on a cookie sheet, okay? So, like a baking cookie sheet on a cookie tray, okay? Baking tray. All right, so now we're gonna work on what is similar. We're gonna do a platter, which is really cute for the holidays because if you serve, this plate underneath here is a little big, but if you have, and I have it taped on there because it was sliding off, this is basically a peppermint platter. And then you can put cookies or you can put cupcakes. You can put it on basically a cake stand like this. So I'm going to use this, I'm kind of a little shortening it for the height. So you can use it for different things. So I just have it on this to transport, but it's not going to break, okay? So that's what we're going to make. We're going to make a peppermint platter. Use it in a cookie tray, anything that you want to use it for. So first, you have to have a springform pan. And lots of peppermints, 78 to 80, depending on how big your springform pan is. I'm using a 9-inch springform pan, okay? I also have parchment paper. And what I've done is I found something just a little bit bigger than this because you want a little bit of an edge. So I traced this. See, it's a little bit bigger than that. I traced it. And then I'm going to cut it because you want to have a little bit of an extra rim on it because you don't want the candies to stick to the side of the metal. You want them to still attach to the paper because when you pull it out, you want to have a little bit to work with on the edge of the peppermints, okay? So we're cutting. Good. Go. We're going to take our parchment and push right into here. Kind of make sure that on all sides is a little bit sticking out. You don't want all to one side and then there's metal touching where the candy's going to be. And then I put my finger and kind of just make a little indentation as if I was cutting it, but you don't want to cut it. You just want to make sure that it looks like a flower kind of. So there you see the inside, there's a rim right here, a rim up all the way around it like that. All right, that being said, while the other one's cooking, we're going to go ahead and start to put our design in here. So at some point, it was like 78 candies. So I do this ahead of time before because you don't want to watch me opening 78 of these. I put a few extra because sometimes they break. Put your pretty side to the top. So if you have one that's a little broken, it's okay, but you don't want halves. Okay? So just start putting in. I mean, after your first one, if you feel confident you can make a design if you buy the green and white peppermints and make like a Christmas tree in them. I've seen that done. It's really cute. All right. So you put them in here. You want them as tight as possible. And there may be a little bit of space at the end, but I promise you, it's all going to smell together just like you saw that platter that I showed you on the demo. So I've had people ask me, should I put a little oil? You could, but sometimes when you do that, the candy color starts to bleed on the bottom, and you want to try to prevent that. It's going to be a little sticky. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's going to be a little sticky on the parchment when it comes out of the oven, but don't panic. It'll come off. It just going to take a little, it's a matter of almost like 5 to 6 seconds of playing with it for it to come off the parchment. And I'm going to show you how to do that with a silicone spatula. Okay. So if you want to get one of those. Is anybody doing this with me or is everybody kind of just watching? Anybody? Huh?
Watching and snacking.
Watching and snacking. Yay. Good. Maybe one in there. Filling in. I feel like I'm playing Connect 4 or some kind of like puzzle piece thing. Shake it a little bit. Oh, got some more room. That's how I kind of tell. I shake it around a little bit. I think I got one more in here. I shake it. One pops out. I kind of know like it might need. Okay. I don't think I can get any more in there. No matter how I move it. Let's see. Maybe one more. Okay. Shake it around. If I shake it and one top pops out, then it's kind of like, that's it. I think I'm done. Okay. Looks pretty good. Yeah. See that last one keeps popping out. Unless I have a baby one in there somewhere. Okay. I'm going to go with that.
The edge is broken piece.
No, it's good. Okay. So we have that. It's good. So that's set like that. Okay. How many minutes do I have left on that other one? Got 3 more minutes. Okay. So we're going to set that to a side for just a little bit. I'm going to make some room for when the other thing comes out. The bowl. So I'm going to have a rack. I'm going to have a rack next to me because I'm going to need to be able to work really fast. I've got the oven mitts. And I may take them off if I don't feel like I can work very well with them. I'm used to having hot things on my hands, but I just want you to protect yourself, okay? So I have this here ready to go and that. I got a silicone spatula to help kind of either push it in or help shape it. All that ready to go there. All right. So the next thing we're going to work on is a candy cane sugar cookie. So I'll just talk about it while we're waiting for the thing to come out. I'm going to teach you how to use the Wilton Gel Color. This is actually Christmas red. See that? And you can use this again for icings, the dough. I've used it for royal icing, but not for chocolate. It's a no-no, not for candies also. Anytime you use that, it has to be a oil-based gel. And this gel is water-based, okay? So it does not like chocolate. Chocolate does not like it, okay? So we're going to be using that in just a little bit. So I'm going to also use sugar dough that I've pre-made. I believe Kathleen sent out a recipe for a sugar cookie, brownie, and royal icing. And if you didn't make them ahead of time, it's okay. You can watch and just look at those recipes. With the royal icing later, if it seems a little thick, it just depends on the humidity in your house. You can add a little bit of water to it. So I wanted to go ahead and tell you that right away. Same thing with the cookie dough. If it seems a little wet, you can add a little bit more flour because we're going to roll it out in a little bit. And I've had people in the past tell me, I think mine's too wet. So we've added more flour. So if you want to get a little flour out with that, that's a good thing too. So, all right. So far, any questions about the peppermint bowl or the peppermint platter that we're doing before we get going any further? Anybody?
No.
Good. All right. So you're also going to need some toothpicks with the sugar cookie because that's what I use to get the gel out without contaminating the gel. So we're going to get our toothpicks out. We're going to need a spatula, a knife. And then I have 2 balls of cookie dough here. One that we're going to use regular and one I'm going to show you how to turn into a red cookie dough, okay? I got a little bit of extra flour. And then I have my gloves because as I start to knead the dough with the red gel, my hands won't turn red. So I'm going to have those ready to go as well. And I'm going to take a look. I'm going to bring it out and we're going to take a look and I'm going to show you what I think it should look like. There comes the peppermints and I'm going to see how soft they are. Let's see here. All right, come here. You see how they're shiny? If you move it around with your finger, they're hot. Gonna push them together, just like this. I think they could go a little bit more, but I'm pushing them together a little bit. They're starting to melt there. Maybe another minute. Wait. Oh, actually, no. All right. Let me work it. Let's see. Hopefully, we don't have a fail. I'll be 2 for 2 this week. See, I can't work it. I'm so used to working with my hands. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna flip it over. So I'm getting my mitt basically underneath here. I'm getting my bowl here. I'm centering it. And I'm flipping it over. Now I may go off to the side. Don't worry. You can always move it a little bit. It's hot. And you bend it down. Now working with the seal pen. Oh, it's falling off. I'm going to push it together. It's still hot. Woof. I can touch heat more than other people though. Let me feel on it. A little bit more. Let's put it back in there because I think it needs to go a little bit more. It's hot. It's hot. I would say maybe 2 more minutes. And it's candy, so how it can melt back. So it's okay. But that's how fast it will set. Okay? Let's try it one more time. All right, go back to there. All right. It's hot, so you have to be careful. Even the bowl stays hot a little bit long. All right. It's something it requires practice. Trust me. The first one I did it, and it was like, I didn't do too bad the first time. All right, I'm going to put that to the side. While that's going, we're going to work on our sugar cookie. Here, there. I want to make sure that you guys watch me do it and show you how to do that, okay? So we have our 2 doughs. I'm going to put gloves on. That one there, and this is the one we're going to dye red, okay? So I have the cookie dough there, pre-made there. I made it last night. And I use a toothpick to add color to it. Once I put this over here, it doesn't go back in there. I get another stick because this will contaminate very easily. If you double dip it in icing or anything and put it back in there, the next time you open this up, it will be completely molded. So only single dip, that's it. So you just go in. And I'm thinking I'm gonna need a little more. So I just get another toothpick. And add some more. Like that. And I'll put that on there and I'm gonna start to knead it while that's in the oven, okay? I'm gonna turn that dough red. If you have the drops, you can add drops to it. The drops tend to sometimes add more liquid to it and then it gets like too wet. The gel seems to absorb right into it. Just like pinch it and work it. Knead it a little bit. And if it does, I add a little bit of flour and it's okay. Some people, they like it some people like it marbly and they leave it like that. But if you want to continue to get a complete red, you keep working it. I've seen like marble looking cookies before. Yeah, it looks a little pink right now. I'm standing by the heater, so my throat's getting dry. So I'm going to add a little bit more.
It looks orange and camera.
Okay. All right. Here we go. On camera, it probably looks orange, my daughter says, but it's red, I promise. Okay. All right, this is off. Okay. All right, we're going to take a little break from this. Nice and red. Going to put that in the fridge so it stays cold until I'm using it. All right, let's see. Out of my hands. Okay, let's try this again. And then where's the cake stand? All right. Here we go. Okay. Cake stand here. I can reach things better there. Let's give it another whirl. Oh yeah, here we go. So it's soft. It looks like it's kind of gotten, I say shorter. It's not as tall as the candy is. I'm going to push it together a little bit. Let's try this again. I hope we have a success.
You can't see on camera, but it's very shiny.
Yeah, it's very shiny. Okay. One over. Put the bowl in the middle. I'm going to flip it over. Success. Okay. That's this. It's sticking to the silk pad, and that's okay. It's going to require pushing down a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to let you see a little bit here. It's removing. I know it's about to fall. It's falling off. There you go. That's better. Now, I'm going to use both of these pot holders and kind of cup it. Like that. Cup it. And it's not sticking to that, you see? It's hot, but it's manageable. You can't, see, I can still touch it. There you go. And within about a minute, it just kind of sets, okay? This actually worked out because it showed you, like, if it wasn't ready, it wasn't a total failure. We know how to fix it, okay? All right. So that's nice and hard. Still hot. So let that set for just a little. Now we just put in the platter into the oven, and that's going to be the same thing. We're going to put it in for about 15 minutes. That takes a little longer because the edges are high around the springform pan. So it takes a little longer for the heat to go over it, as opposed to this being flat and the heat just goes right over it, okay? So it takes a little bit longer. So we have this. It's a little while to pull off. There he goes, pops right out. Now, because I had a little lip on my bowl, that's where you're gonna see a little lip in there. But if you pick a bowl that's got a flatter edge on it, you're gonna have a flat inside. I just didn't have one small enough. I wanted it a little deeper. And again, the trick is practicing and getting it centered so that all around the sides are more even, okay?
Someone said it's very cute.
It's cute to put like ice cream in there if you're having a little party, or you can put, you know, if you make homemade little chocolates or fudge and you give them to coworkers with plastic and a little ribbon, it's really cute and it's something they can reuse. I did read where someone had said that, how do you keep it from getting sticky with humidity and all that? And I believe you can buy it at Home Depot or the craft store. They make like a clear sealant, like Krylon. It makes like a clear, creative sealant on this. And you're able to spray this once it cools, but in light, like you don't spray it and shellac it because it'll just slide off the candy. You want to just like mist it for the first couple of coats in between. And then the last coat, you can give it a little bit more and then it'll seal it. But they're so, you know, the candy's so cheap that a lot of people just throw it away and make another one next year if they get it, you know, or whatever. But it just depends. If you want to keep it, try that. Same thing for your platter. It's really cute, right? All right, I'm putting it to the side. It's warm. And then we're going to go back to making our candy cane sugar cookies. All right, so we've already made our red, and we're going to roll out our dough a little bit with our hands. Now remember, when working with, we're going to kind of make something like this, okay? This is sugar cookie. All right, now remember our hands are really warm, so when working with cookie dough, sugar cookie especially, you want to keep it as cold as possible while you're working with it, okay? So, because you'll basically, the butter that's in there will leach out. So I'm going to just roll it with my hand. If it seems like it gets a little too shiny, it's okay to put a little flour down. You can roll that. That's why I love my table. It's wood. I can do anything on it. Okay. And we're going to basically cut this in half because this is pretty much enough to make two of them. Okay. Now it's tempting to make it really thick, but the thicker you make it, it's going to be harder to see an indentation in between here. So you want to make it a really actually thinner. This one actually, it came out where it was almost touching, and I had to literally like make an indentation in the middle and move it when it was cooling. Okay, so thinner the better. Now don't worry, it's going to be perfect. Okay. We do want it to try to be, and if it breaks off, it's okay. You pinch it back and you start over. I'm going to get the Another one. Roll it out. Lost it. Did on that one. Okay. So what we start to do is we grab our edge. We get them close together like that. And don't worry if one's long on the other. We're going to probably make more than one. You're going to take it and you're going to pinch the end here together. Okay. And even if it falls apart, pinch it back together. And you just start crossing it over. And cross it over. And cross it over. Okay. Twist it if you want to. And cross it over. If it breaks, don't worry. You just keep pinching it. And cross it over. Cross it over. Cross it over. Like that. And you can twist it if you want, but if it breaks over, don't worry about it. It's just food. It's okay. Okay. You can pinch it. All right. And make a candy cane. Now you want to leave it at least 2 fingers in between there because again, it's going to puff up. Okay. So then I'm going to transfer that over to a parchment tray. Just like that. Okay. Let's try making that. We're waiting for the other thing anyway. So we got it here.
Could you also take the doughs and someone asked about a log, like you just alternate different cuts?
As far as like putting like little like this.
Yeah, like alternating.
And doing like one.
Yes.
And like this.
Yeah.
And doing like this.
Yeah.
Yes, you could, but I'm not sure if they would stick, you know, as far as uniformly like that if you try that. If you want to do that, we'll try that and then we'll see which one comes out better. I love experimenting. Why not? Let's see. All right. Which might be easier if you have children that are trying and they might get a little frustrated with the other, if it keeps breaking on them or something like that. Like that. That. Start to turn the corner here. How many minutes we have on the platter? 8. Okay, good.
4:33.
All right. Let's see what happens. There's plenty of room in there. All right, we'll see which one comes out. Let's see what. Always more than one way to do things. Scoop that up. I may have to put it just symbol it again over here. Probably better to do on the parchment paper. All right. And if you wanted to make green, you could just make green dough as well too. All right, so we have 2. Now it's going to puff up when you go, and it goes into the oven, okay? And it may even connect here. Don't panic until it comes out. Give it about 30 seconds when it comes out of the oven and have your spatula ready to be able to kind of push together and reshape it a little bit, okay? All right. Now this has to be baked at 350, at least 10 to 12 minutes, okay? All right. Let's put it over here. I might mess up here a little bit. All right. next thing we're gonna do, I'm waiting for the platter, to make these little guys. These are just your regular same sugar cookie recipe. And I make them nice and big because I leave plenty of room to do the design on them, okay? So I've already pre-cooked them. Sorry, baked them. And I used royal icing for the melting snowman and for the snow where the light bulbs are, okay? If you don't have these little light bulb, ornaments, you can use M&Ms. You can also use just, different little candies like this on those. I will tell you for the face, I use this little black gel, and I happened to have a little orange sprinkle that I had left over from Halloween. I have some sprinkles for that. So I just use that. For the marshmallow, I use this size, not that really big giant one and not the tiny ones. So I use those, okay? So now with the royal icing recipe, that's what I have in here, the royal icing. You can make it in different thicknesses. When I do my gingerbread houses, I make it like cement. Like I don't want my gingerbread house to fall, because if you ever buy one of those kits, that icing they put in those things is horrible. Like they set you up for failure. This one's a little looser because I'm making it for the actual cookie. All right. So for starters, let's work on the one for the snowman. So first I'm going to make a design that looks like the snow is melting on it, okay? All right, let's see. Let me get a paper towel because I'm going to use to clean this off. It's been sitting in there for a while. Let's see if I got my tip to fall. There it is. I think we're good. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to make an outline first. In dealing with your royal icing, you want to make an outline first so that it basically contains the royal icing that you're going to fill it with, okay? You do that. And when I fill it, I use something sharp like this. I mean, if you have a candy, this is actually a sausage poker, but I use it to be able to blend in different colors, or just what I'm going to use in here, because you don't have to so I just continue to outline it, and then I'll show you how I kind of get it. If there's like a hole, instead of cutting and putting a big blob in there, you want it to start to look real smooth with royal icing. It's just best to kind of and because I don't want to put too much icing, it's okay, like I said, to leave like some spaces like that. And then you use your something sharp, a little poker, and you just work it like this. And it'll smooth out, okay? See, I'm just filling it in, and I shake it a little bit. Like that. And I'm going to give you a nice, smooth, shiny surface, just like that. Okay? And you clean it every once in a while like that. Nice, shiny surface. See that? Okay, so that's our snowman melting. We're going to put his head. Before I put his head on there, I want to make sure I get his face done. So we have a clean palette here. I'm going to use my sparkly gel, and I always clean the tip. And I got 2 minutes on the platter. I got a little warning there. I'm going to go ahead and put his face. I'm going to put one eye. Let's give him a smiley face. Like that. And then I'm going to need to attach his nose. And then we're going to a carrot nose here somewhere. Let me find one. That's hard to get it out. Hold on. Oh. And I'm going to use just a touch of just to attach his nose here. That's the snowman's nose, like that. And then I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to attach him here. All All right, so that's attached. I'm gonna need to let this dry a little bit before I put his arms in there. That's why I'm doing that now. But I'm gonna go ahead and put his little buttons or his red dots here. And you can use, again, M&Ms. Kind of make them look like they're moving. Direction like that. You can put those in there so they can set in. This royal icing does take a while to dry, but before we finish, I'll show you. I'll put his little arms there. So that's it. That's melting. You can put something around his neck if you want to, with, you know, some more gel. We're gonna let that set for just a little bit, okay? I'm gonna make some room because, again, how we do the platter is gonna be coming out. I'm gonna need some room to work, so I'm gonna set that for a side for just a minute. Let's see. It's ready to go. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna get my tray here. And because this is on parchment, it's gonna be a little stickier. Okay, so I have my spatula and I have my mitts and everything ready to go, just in case we need this right here. All right, and again, if it's not ready, we'll just put it back in just like we did before. All right, so let's take a look. Now we may have gone a little too far, but we're gonna sort it out. Do you see how there's bubbling on the end there? Can you see those bubbles right there? That is probably too far, okay? But the inside is nice and soft here and gooey, okay? So let's let that cool for just a little bit, because if it's too hot like that, it's just gonna run everywhere. All right, so we probably kind of go on maybe like a minute less. It's hard to tell. Everybody's oven's different.
Someone asked if you could let it cool inside the parchment and then take it off.
You want to let it cool a little bit, but not too much, because it can become one with the paper. So a little bit's good. So I'm going to just poke around the edges a little bit with my offset spatula and just see how it goes. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't come off the parchment, I did see this once. Somebody just cut the paper around and they just left it like on the parchment. So if you're not feeling brave, and with this one being so gooey, we may have to go that route. But if you want it to pop off, usually it pops off. But that's why it's good to leave a little paper, because you can always pull a little bit back away and just trim it and leave the parchment underneath it, and it would, you know, nobody would ever know. All right. So right now I'm going to go ahead and just pop this off and open it. Get the heat away. Well, you can see a little bit better now. Let's see if I start to try to work it, see how it's really gooey now. And that might be a little too gooey. And you start to lose your design. So we may have gone touched a little too far, but it's okay. I said everybody's stove, our stove has been on because I was baking the cookies and stuff like that. So probably maybe could have gone a little bit long, you know, a little bit less. Working with the parchment is a little trickier, but it's okay. It's kind of hard because if I don't have the oven right next to me, it's kind of hard for me to like know exactly when to take it out. But working in the kitchen and filming is really hard. There's not really enough lighting right next to the stove for you to be able to see anyways. And working here at the table gives us more space. I'm just shaping it a little bit, keeping it from spreading anymore. Okay. Now we have a nice round shape. Now, even with my other one, I just ran my silicone spatula over it like this, just to make sure that if there were any like holes in the middle, it's nice and smooth, so your platter has a nice smooth finish on it. So let's just pretend it's my other one, okay? It's cooling here. See if it'll, no, it won't be ready to come off. So let's let it cool a little bit, and we're gonna see what happens, okay? You may have to just cut it. We can maybe might be able to flip it. We're gonna let it cool. That away, let that cool for a while. And we're gonna go back to Mr. Snowman over here. All right, so back to Mr. Snowman. All right, let's put him some arms. Always clean your tip when you're working. Let's give it a, I always start off right here in case there's like a water or a bubble or something. I'm gonna give them an arm. So you first attach the gel and then let it fall. Now, if you want to do this with royal icing, all you have to do is just use your gel and color your royal icing. I just already happen to have this sparkly gel. I'm just using that. All right, so that's his arms. Now we're gonna do the string of lights, which we kind of did last week with the please. We did last week with the cupcakes. So you can, if you have leftover, ingredients, you can just do the same thing with the cookie, okay? This time we're going to use the royal icing on the outside. Tip again. All right. I'm going to create the circle first on the outside so it corrals in when we fill in the inside. And there's really no need to press on your cookie when you're using that. You want to let it fall. You first attach it and then you just kind of let it fall. Okay. If you want to do snowflakes, you can use this royal icing to do snowflakes as well. Works really well on sugar cookies. Okay, let's see my little stick here. Poker. Just fill in all the holes like that and spread it around a little bit. Just make sure it attaches to the other piece of the royal icing.
Right, can you add flavoring to the royal icing to make it taste different?
You could, but I wouldn't put a lot. If it's gonna, I would add it after I make sure, right before I decide to, let's put it this way. Look at me for a second. If you're royal icing, you want to get first a thicker version of what you need, because once you add your flavoring in there, it's going to loosen it up. So don't get the consistency that you want and then decide, I'm going to add vanilla or almond. Then you're going to get it too loose. So I would go thicker, then add your flavoring, and then you get your consistency. So like right now, if I was to add flavoring to this, it's going to be runny. And then I'm going to have to add more powdered sugar or more cream of tartar. The cream of tartar is what stabilizes it. It allows it to get hardened again, okay? If you don't have the cream of tartar in it, you're just going to not have royal icing. It's just going to be a royal mess, okay? So that's kind of like our snow there. And we're going to go ahead and, let me just check real quick. Almost ready. Let me do the little light string of lights, and then we're going to check on our peppermint. Okay, here we go. So let's just make a squiggly. Again, attach it. And there's no right or wrong way how to do this. You always let it fall. If you try to like drag it through it, you're going to be like, ugh, I made a big old mess. Like, this is not good. Let it fall on there, okay? And it gives you a nice clean line. The only time you drag it is if you're going to make it look like a spider web, and we're not doing that. That was Halloween, okay? All right. Now let's add our light bulbs. Here we go. I bought these through the Wilton too, and they have little light bulbs, and they're so cute. I was hoping they came out with them again this year, and they did. It's like a multi-pack of all different kind of sprinkles. Put them in there. Kids really like these. Wrong way. Okay. Once it falls, that's it. One more yellow one over here. Okay, looks pretty. All right, nice and colorful. So we'll leave those there. And let's take a look at our peppermint. Taking it off the tray now. It's still warm. It's still bendable. So you gotta be careful. You gotta make sure it's on a flat surface. Pulling it off. A little stuff right there. I'm gonna flip it on here. Whoop, bottom of the top. Now that's what the bottom looks like, okay? Now that's not what we want. We want the top version. Flip it back over. Now, this is the difference. When you go too much bubble, that's what you're gonna see. So this is the version of what not to do. Too much bubble on the end, see? Then you don't have a nice, clean design. Now let's go to the one that didn't bubble. Come over here. This is the one that didn't bubble. See how the design is clearer? You get the nice red. Look at the ends of the thing. See? Clear, 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 clear. This is the bad one. Bubbly. The design is not pretty. Okay? So bad, good. All right? So it doesn't have to be precisely 15 minutes. It can be 13. But you see how there's still room in here to be able to, it was shiny, but it wasn't goo. It wasn't like, so you want it soft, but not bubbly. All right. So that's a good version of what to do and what not to do. So that's a good experiment we did. But that's what we're looking for, because even the back of this one still kind of looks like peppermint. The back of this one, you're not sure what that looks like. See? All right.
Producer's fired.
All right. So there we go. And this is the pretty part. This is the part you want to put to the top. All right, so that's a nice, pretty peppermint. So again, you can serve somebody and put it in plastic and put cookies on this, brownies, and serve that at your pot. You can put it on your nice, pretty, like grandmother's cake stand, and then serve things on top of that. It'll be beautiful. All right, that's what to do. All right, I think we have one last thing to do, and that is we're going to work on a brownie. I sent a recipe in my brownie recipe. I cut them into little pieces of triangle. Oh, and we got our candy canes out. All right. So again, experiment. This is our candy cane cookie. As soon as it came out, I would have pressed it in more like this for my candy cane. This is the candy cane that we did 1, 2, 1, 2. This looks more braided in, I guess you could say, as opposed to this. So if it would have right when it came out, I would have pushed this in a little bit more like this. So this is the braid, kind of like this, the twisted, and this is just putting in the, so you see what the difference is there. So you can kind of decide which other way is easier for you. I like this one. It looks like it's more, but it's not bad. But when it comes out, you got to make sure that you squeeze it in there. But we were working on the platter, okay? So that's your candy. I just want to teach you also how to dye the dough with the gels from Wilton, okay? All right, we're done with that. And we're going to just use our brownie recipe.
The other one would make a good stocking.
Yes, it would make a good stocking. So I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so I have already taken the brownie, and we're going to make this. Let me show you what we're going to make. So it's like a version of kind of what we did last week.
Their eyes got bigger.
Yeah, their eyes got bigger. Yummy. Okay, let me have a plate. A dark one. Okay, so this is basically a brownie under here. I have these straws I just happen to have. This I cut it in half, and they look like candy canes. But if you don't have this, you can use Pocky. You can use a pretzel. You can use a lollipop holder. Just, even a plastic roll. But this is a paper straw, and I've cut it in half. And that's what I used for down there, which happened to work really cute for this. But, you can pick it up like this. See? They're really cute for kids. All right. So that's what we're going to make. So we're going to take our brownie recipe that we cut into pieces like this. You can make it as big as you want or small as you want. I kind of like using the straw because when it goes in, it kind of already takes up part of the brownie and it stays like together like that. And it depends on how far I'm going to put it in there, but that's as far as I'm going. Okay, so like that. And kind of what we did last week, where we took basically our basic icings, and I had a little bit left over from last week, so I was able to recycle. As long as you keep it in the fridge and bring it back to room temperature, you're good to go. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with the star tip. We're just going to, it's easy peasy. attach and lift. You know, I would swirl it, but a lot of people get intimidated with that. So with the star tip, it's just, you just touch it and lift. Press, attach it, and then there's no stress like, oh, the design didn't come out. The star tip is very forgiving.
Could you do a swirl to show what it would look
Sure. So with a swirl, you would attach it. Like that. So again, you can do it, you know, however fancy you want, or you could just swirl it like this, you know. But sometimes people like, I think it gets more realistic with the, like just the star tip where you can lift off on it. But it just depends on how you want to do it. If you want to, you know, continue to swirl. But I think the star tip makes it look more realistic. Okay. We lost our corner there. Okay, so that's the green. And then with the red, I'll make first this is a straight tip. Like that. And then I have a true yellow. I haven't got orange. I have all the other little icing pieces. Where are all my little bitty? Ah, here we go. We've got some candy canes here. I got a snowflake. I'll put that on top of the star. That looks cute. I got little bitty gingerbread people. This all came from that Wilton assortment, which is really cute. Yeah, stockings too, I think. A snowflake there. You could do just sprinkles all across it if you wanted to, if you were trying to get done with it. I think I have a few more here. One there. White one there. Yeah, so you can put whatever you want on it. But it's so cute because then they're almost like popsicles, but like our lollipops. So really cute. All right. And those all look really pretty on, you know, different platters that you might have. So we have everything right here. So that's everything that we've made today. We've got our bowl, got our platter, candy cane. Oh, and then we have these. Where's the one we made? Is the one we made? Oh, we made some other ones of these. We're going to check them out. They were in the fridge. We're bringing those out. And we have our string of lights sugar cookie. We have our melting snowman. These are just the ones I made yesterday, but this one here. And we're going to check our Christmas trees. Here are our little Christmas trees I made on Pockies. So let's put this there so you can see a little better. And again, you can make them out of any color chocolate that you want. All right, that's pretty. If you leave the sticks longer at the bottom, you can put them into cupcakes as well. And then you can have a whole bunch of cupcakes or into a cakes. All right, I've seen them where they do different sizes of these, and the whole cake on top has different sizes of Christmas trees in different colors. So, all right, any questions? Full of flour. Any questions, anyone?
They're clapping.
All right, thanks. I know it's a little kind of going back and forth, but I was trying to make sure we had time in between the stuff in the oven. And hopefully I answered all your questions and didn't make it too confusing. So I want to wish everyone a happy holiday. If you want to watch it again, it's going to be on the Ruth Keeler Memorial Library website. And I'm wishing everybody a nice, happy holiday season. Stay safe, warm, and out of this terrible weather. And I hope to see you in the new year. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.